breaking down all of Trump's day one presidential actions. Reason why they're saying actions is because there were 26 executive orders, 12 memorandums, and 4 proclamations. So let's go at them real quick. Let's see. First one, proclamation on flying flags at half-mast. After former President Jimmy Carter died on December 29th, President Biden, following U.S. flag code, issued a proclamation for flags to be flown at half-mast for 30 days at all public buildings. Trump, however, expressed his displeasure of the idea of flags being flown at half-mast on the day of his inauguration, so prompting Republican Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, and a number of Republican governors to order flags to be flown at full staff on January 20th during his inauguration. So there's the first one. I don't know how you guys feel about that. Should President Jimmy Carter be honored for 30 days with flags half-mast, or maybe just give him from when he died to leading up to the inauguration? I mean, a week? Would a week be fine? I don't know. You tell me. Next one. Executive order on rescinding previous executive orders. Trump issued an executive order revoking 78 executive orders and memorandums issued by President Biden administration. So make one executive order to revoking 78 executive orders issued by the Biden administration. Next one, executive order on freedom of speech. Interesting. Trump issued an executive order titled Restoring Freedom of Speech and Ending Federal Censorship that claimed that the Biden administration trampled free speech rights by censoring Americans' speech on online platforms. You know what? If you saw the podcast with Mark Zuckerberg and Joe Rogan, you'd see that, the Biden administration was actively pressuring Facebook to censor. And yeah, social media platforms probably shouldn't be censored. I don't know. What do you guys think? I mean, there's some things that need to be looked into, like threats and stuff, right? But I mean, there's some expressions that does not warrant censorships. I don't know. You tell me, are there some certain speech on online platforms that warrant censorships? Next one, executive order on weaponizing of government. Trump issued an executive order titled Ending the Weaponization of Federal Government that directs the Attorney General to identify and take appropriate actions to correct. This was basically what Trump experienced, right? He was getting prosecuted because Democrats wanted to throw him in jail. If he's in jail, he can't run for president. But it turns out it didn't happen. So this is the whole thing. It's like, hey, next person who's running for an elected of office, like, you can't just be trying to, instead of like losing 2 of them, you'll do everything you can to just throw the person in jail instead of compete against them. Next one, memorandum ending remote work. Return in person. I was looking at this earlier. Let me pull this up real quick. This is short and sweet, but it's important. Heads of all department and agencies in the executive branch of government shall, as soon as practicable, so that could be between now to the end of Trump's term, now until 10 years from now, government moves slow, take all necessary steps to terminate remote work arrangements and require employees to return to work in person at their prospective duty stations on full-time basis, provided the department and agency heads make an exception they deem necessary. So this last part, agency heads shall make exceptions they deem necessary. So this, I was reading on the news, like, return to work 5 days a week. Doesn't say it here. It could just still be the same. Come back to work 1 day a month. And in addition, the government and remote work, sorry if this is taking a while, I have to explain this part. There's 2 different terms. There's telework and there's remote work. Telework is the government employees who live within 50 miles of their respective duty stations, but they're allowed to work at home. They could come into the office as needed. If, the department head said, hey, everyone come into the office on this day for a meeting or whatever, or come in twice a week, within their 50 miles. Those are teleworkers. And they're tied to a duty station. Remote workers could be anywhere in the U.S. They could work anywhere in the U.S. their duty station is their home address. So now you're telling them, work in person at their respective duty stations. Okay, I'm already at my duty station. I'm at home already. Great. So, I mean, this memorandum this needs work. This needs some changing. Sorry if that took a while. Let me go back. Memorandum limiting new regulations. In a memorandum titled Regulatory Freeze Pending Review, Trump ordered all executive departments and agencies not to propose any rule or directive until a department head reviews and approves it. So I guess there's a problem with the Biden administration, that people are just, just approving things without the president or department heads knowing. They're just, just passing new regulations without the very top knowing about it, right? It's just regulations here, regulations there, regulation there. You get a regulation, you get a regulation. I don't know. I think I'm interpreting this wrong. Please correct me, but that's an interesting one. Memorandum stopping federal hiring. So it's a memorandum. It's a hiring freeze. Till they just let's just stop hiring except positions related to immigration, enforcement, national security, or public safety. Plan within the next 7 days to reduce the size of the federal government workforce through efficiency improvements and attribution. Again, this is a memorandum. It might take a while to really execute this plan. It's not an executive order. I don't know if I can explain what an executive order and memorandum. Executive order is more immediate, more done sooner than a memorandum. Feel free to comment below if you're an expert. Memorandum on emergency price relief. No specific measures were outlined through the memorandum. Calls on the assistant to the president for economic policies to report every 30 days thereafter on the status of the implementation. So basically, to me, this sounds empty. We're going to reduce energy costs, which is going to lower the cost of housing, food, and other fuel costs. How? It doesn't explain how, right? Next one, executive order on withdrawing from international climate agreements. So basically, Trump is getting out to, what was that climate agreement? Just right here in front of my face. U.S. from the landmark Paris Agreement that focuses on reducing countries' carbon emissions. Basically, there's so many companies who agree to it, but they're not really doing it. So it's just, what's the point? We're just making stuff up. Oh, we're going to do it, but not actually do it. That's basically what it is. So who cares if the U.S. is in it or not? It doesn't matter. No one's really taking it seriously. Proclamation pardoning January 6th Capitol rioters. I'm torn on this. I mean, if you went in the buildings or if you stormed the national Capitol and you're destroying things and you're looting things, you broke crazy laws. I don't know how I feel about that. Do they deserve a pardon? I guess. If they're still in jail, this did happen in 2021. I think maybe they got enough punishment, right? That's a long time to be in jail for doing something stupid. 4 years, huh? Right? So, yeah, maybe. How long were they sentenced to jail for? I don't even see that. Interesting. Executive order delaying TikTok ban. I don't know how I feel about this, because it's it passed. Unanimously upheld by the Supreme Court that they're going to ban it. So if the Supreme Court is this is banned, how can an executive order be allowed to supersede the Supreme Court's decision on this? I don't know. To me, that's a weird one to me. I don't know if it's just they're just saying it just to say it, or they're just doing it and the Supreme Court is not going to do anything about it. I don't know. That's a weird one to me. But, is there a special thing that the president can do on an executive order? The Supreme Court banned it, but I'm allowed to, delay it temporarily. But it will have to be permanently put down until something's changed. I don't know. Executive order withdrawing from the World Health Organization. Mainly because World Health Organization didn't do a good job during the COVID-19 pandemic. It was just like shut down everything, control everything. And a lot of people say that, they got a lot of money from China. They're influenced by China way too much. Maybe it is, maybe it's not, but US is like, we're not giving you money anymore. This organization sucks, and we have our own public health that we're trying to fix ourselves. So we don't need a bunch of other countries or this World Health Organization who's bought and paid for by China to tell us what we can and cannot do. Screw you guys. Executive order on hiring and firing federal employees. So basically, this just makes it's hard to fire federal employees, but it also takes forever to hire federal employees. So they're just trying to fix this. Let's see how that works out. Executive order revoking security clearances. Is this one with the... No, this one with the whole John Bolton situation where... What was it? He released a book releasing sensitive information and just trying to remove security clearances of 4 dozen former intelligence officials. So, a lot of people losing their security clearances. Proclamation declaring a national emergency at the southern border. Just basically, national security calls for military personnel and resources to help secure the southern border with physical barriers, drones, everything. I mean, it's a shame that it has to be a proclamation, and be called a national security. Shouldn't even have to be called that. It's just like, get the job done. And it's crazy that the last 4 years has been like open. But I mean, this is something that I think a lot of people agree with. Like, that border needs to be secured. It's way too open. We don't know who's coming in. And we know a lot of them are criminals from other countries. And those countries are thanking the U.S. that we're taking their criminals. So yes, that does need to be secured. Memorandum on resolving delayed security clearances. So let's see, provide White House Security Office and acting chief security officers with a list of personnel that are hereby immediately granted interim top security sensitive compartments. So just moving the ball faster on people getting the security clearance, prioritize them. Like, let's get this done. Memorandum on trade. Is this the one with the tariffs? Yeah. So here on the best one, directing cabinet officials to look into trade and tariff policies, including those with China, specifically China. Man, Trump does not like China. But we buy all of our crap there. We sent all of our manufacturing there. Sent all of our, not all, but a lot of blue collar jobs there. And the only people who benefited from it are like the executives. But average American people have, less jobs out there, less good paying jobs. So, I'm in the area of like, hey, we need to keep the jobs here instead of shipping them out, because people across the world will do it for cheaper. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Executive order on plans for troop deployment to the border. So I guess with the national security, this will just say, hey, going to authorize to send U.S. military to create a plan that deploy troops at the southern border. So it goes hand in hand with the national security. Executive order on energy, basically just saying, hey, we got all kinds of resources everywhere that we should be able to get. Last administration, Biden era, put a lot of regulations, prevented a lot of, like drilling for oil here or natural gas. Biden administration says it's bad for our environment and it's going to be a permanent damage. Trump says we don't care. We don't care about the animals, the forest, or anything. We need that energy because gas is expensive. What do you guys think? Executive order suspends refugee settlements. Basically, this is where, it's a loophole of the illegal immigrants claiming to be refugees or asylum seekers, right? They're coming from war-torn countries. No, most of them are just immigrating just so they get a better life in the U.S. And they're illegals too. And the refugee settlement is basically just giving them aid, giving them money. And saying, this executive order, suspend all that. Stop giving them resources. We don't know who they are. They've never been vetted. They're coming across the border and we don't know who they are. They could be criminals, they could be crazy, the craziest of all crazies in the world. Like, this needs to stop. Not only do we need to stop bringing any illegals, we don't stop giving them free stuff on our tax dollars. Executive order to redefine birthright citizenship. This one's a little different because it's it's an amendment. 14th Amendment. Can I look at this real quick? Let's see. So with birthright, all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States, wherein they reside. So no states or anyone can take that away. If you're born in the U.S., you're a citizen. And it's an amendment. No laws can supersede an amendment. Like, the amendment is the top thing that nothing can go above, not even an executive order. So I don't know why this is like smoke and mirrors to me. Like, why isn't it even an executive order? If you want to get rid of the 14th Amendment or redefine it, whatever, it has to be done in Congress with the Senate and your congressmen and women to just come up with a plan to get rid of it and see if it'll pass. Because I don't think it can be a 50-50 vote to change an amendment. I think it has to be like 75% of them have to. I may be wrong. Comment below. I'm going on top of my head. I'm not really looking too much into this for this video. Executive order to secure the U.S.-Mexico border. So, coinciding with all the national security risks of sweeping first-term deportation policies to prioritize people convicted of serious crimes. So just basically deporting people. And the thing is here's the thing with illegal immigration. Like, let's just say 100 people get through, and let's say 70 of them are working jobs most Americans don't want to work, like picking up fruits and vegetables at the farms and cleaning places and whatnot. And then there's 30 of them are just gangbangers, drug dealers, whatever. Those people, and those are serious crimes. They get caught and they get deported. But the illegal immigrants that they're doing the hard work, society tends to just turn a blind eye, because secretly we all need them to do those jobs. Because little Timmy just graduated from high school, is way too good and entitled to work those hard back-breaking jobs. So why not? Not even legal immigrants want to do that too. It's like, dude, I could just get a good regular job. I'm not going to go out there and break my back out in the sun. So illegal immigrants are going to be doing those type of jobs. This is the only time that's, said in whispers in the wind about, like, the only times companies and corporations want illegal immigration, or politicians say they want illegal immigrants, because they're doing jobs that you and I, people watching this, are not willing to do. And I think it's basically going to stay that way. Memorandum removing environmental protections for the Sacramento San Joaquin Delta. Oh my God, I said that wrong. Joaquin, rather. Anyway, I don't know if, like, the U.S. can do this. I figured this is more of a state level thing, because it's all about the water from north that, Governor Gavin Newsom redirected for, certain fish out there, when that water could have been redirected to filling all the reservoirs and could have been used to fight the current fires that's happening in LA. I don't know how strong this will hold up, if it can be anything. I figured this was a state level. I didn't know that they could really get in the business of the state that much, but I could be wrong. Let me know if I'm wrong. Feel free to comment. Executive order expanding the use of the death penalty. So, hey, let's start at the federal level. People on death row, let's get them killed. Just because Biden issued commutations of 37 of 40 federal death row inmates. Now, keep in mind, this is in federal prisons. There's not a lot of prisoners at the federal level. A lot of them at the state level. That's where a lot of prisoners are. So, okay, at the federal level, the amount of federal detainees, people in jail or federal prisons, some of them are death row. Trump is like, nope, we got to kill them. If they're on the death row, they're on the death row. That's it. It's guaranteed. Memorandum on classical architecture for public buildings. This sounds nice. Let's bring in beautiful architecture. Will it happen? I don't know. Again, you know what? I don't know too much about this one, honestly. So I'll just leave it to the comments to say something about this one. A memorandum facilitating the firing of civil servants. So this one is about civil service officers who serve just below the presidential appointees. So it's like the president and then his cabinet, right? Secretary of Transportation, Secretary of Health and Human Services, Secretary of Homeland Security, you know, all of those people. And then the people just underneath those secretaries, still very high level positions, pays a lot of money. In order to get that job, it's not exactly like you apply for it. It's the kind of given to them. And a lot of those people who get those jobs are like friends of someone they know. It's who they know, who got them that job. You know, a lot of them was like the secretaries, you know, give these people these jobs because they help them out as they got the position as secretary to convince the current president, like, hey, let me have this job. So let's get rid of those people. Like, maybe the people who should be working that job is the best person, not your buddy. Executive order declaring a national energy emergency, citing the need to lower energy costs as a reason to boost oil and natural gas production across the country. This is like the drill, baby, drill. You know, let's just tap in our natural resources. We don't have to buy so much outside the country. We have it here. Let's use it. Why not? Thing is, it's like it doesn't last forever. But during his administration, it's going to make energy costs go down, and people are going to love Trump because energy was so cheap. But some people say this doesn't last forever. Some people say it can. I don't know. You tell me. Memorandum pausing certain wind energy projects. So drill, baby, drill. But let's get rid of other possible projects that provide energy, like wind turbines. I'm not an expert in wind turbines. I've heard both sides. Some people say it's great, it works. Some other people say it's stupid, barely does anything, costs way too much to maintain and whatnot. Again, someone in the comments, let me know what you guys think about that one. It's worth it, or if it needs to be innovated to be better, right? Maybe the technologies there just need to be innovated so it's more efficient and produces more energy through winds. I don't know. Executive order to pause U.S. foreign aid, just basically to stop giving money to other countries. And I kind of agree to that. Why are my tax dollars going to these other countries when we need aid here? We've had so many natural disasters lately, and people are not getting the help they need. Oh, here's $700. Mother effer, it's not $700. I need a new house. It's gone. But I don't know. Hopefully, this is one that I'm like, that, okay, if they stop sending money, that's something, but the other half of it's like, is they gonna, the money they stop giving to foreign aid, is it gonna provide aid to the U.S.? I hope it does. Otherwise, just stop sending money and that's it. It's like, fine. I mean, better than sending money. I don't know. Memorandum organizing the National Security Council. I remember reading up on something, and it's just like, basically, outline the structure, membership, and purpose of National Security Council for his administration. Just basically like when there's national security situations, this pipeline needs to be more streamlined to make a decision and execute something instead of like so much bureaucracy, so many people involved. We need to make a decision right now. I don't know if I said it correctly. Let me know if I'm wrong. Memorandum pulling out of the OECD Global Tax Deal, the Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development Global Tax Deal. Trump effectively withdrew the U.S. from a landmark agreement on a universal corporate minimum tax ratified by nearly 140 countries. From what I understand, like, this is, it just doesn't work. It says here that, signed in October 2021 would have ended competitive reductions in corporate tax rates. Does it? Does it not? Again, this is not an area I'm familiar with, so I'd appreciate someone who knows this stuff to leave a comment. Executive order to tighten immigration laws and restrict federal funds for sanctuary cities. Basically, if certain states who are not following through with the current administration on clamping down on illegal immigration, get rid of them. If they're harboring or helping out illegal immigrants, just like in those sanctuary cities, they're not going to get any more funds from the federal government. Let's see how effective that will be. Those sanctuary cities will be able to pull through because they probably do need funds. Because states and cities, they still rely on the federal government for funding for a lot of things. And the government says, stop helping out illegal immigrants, or we're going to stop giving you money. Maybe those places will say, okay, we'll stop helping out illegal immigrants. We need money for A, B, and C. Executive order repealing Biden-era environmental protections and promoting resource extraction in Alaska. There's resources in Alaska. Who would have known, right? Thing is, it's like natural wildlife refuge from oil and gas leasing. Just basically, Alaska is vast with natural resources, but at the same time, it's a big environmental impact. We want to kill off a lot of animals and the good, beautiful land up there because we need resources. I mean, up to you. Do we need it that badly? I mean, you want your gas bill to be cheaper, right? You want your electric bill to be cheaper, right? How often do you go to Alaska? Probably never, right? So why do you care? Executive order to restrict visa seekers from certain countries. This one, vetting of visa seekers. Those aliens coming from regions or nations with identified security risks. So, there we go. The order is remissant. Oh my God, I can't talk. Of the Muslim travel ban. Basically, that travel ban from like Middle Eastern countries, places of national risk. It's like, hey, we can't have people coming out of that country. They could be a national security risk. That country definitely does not like America. Can't have their people coming in here. Executive order calling for an American first foreign policy approach. Basically, a lot of policies, I guess, from the Biden administration, it was just not really helping out Americans, but so focused on helping a lot of other countries, and possibly, I think this one with immigrants too, like it coincides with the other. Trump is saying the U.S. needs to be a priority. Americans first, before we get to other people. Sounds great. I wonder if it'll actually come to fruition. I don't even know what the whole details of the plan is, but we'll find out. Executive order establishing DOGE, which is Department of Government Efficiency, because, as we heard, we don't want these bureaucrats, unelected bureaucrats, to be telling us what we can and cannot do, pass legislation, or laws, or whatever. Therefore, we need oligarchs like Elon Musk who are not elected to tell us what we can and cannot do. I mean, what can you do? I mean, you get screwed either way. So it's just, is Elon Musk going to be any better than the corrupted bureaucrats we had in there? Or Elon Musk is just going to give him more power to get himself richer? Who knows? Executive order defining gender and rolling back transgender protection. So basically, as we saw, girl means girl, boy means boy. There's only two genders. That's it. That is it. We're going with there. We're not rolling back on a lot of other things. I don't know. Ultimately, I just don't care. Like, if you want to call yourself whatever you want, that's fine. But you can't force me to call you what you want to be called. That's my freedom of speech. If you don't like it, you don't have to associate with me anymore. If you want to be called a zebra and I'm calling you a female and you're getting mad at me, you can't force me to change what I call you. Just stop talking to me. Next one. Executive order to end DEI programs. This one is very true because a lot problem with DEI is I get where it comes from. Like, you have a full, like, say, a corporate office, and it's like, hey, man, there's only white people here. Where's all the Asians and whatnot? It's because some people are like, we don't want to hire people who are not white here. So it's really hard to judge someone's character if they're really racist or if it just happens that all the best candidates are the same race. Don't know, but they're just injecting a program that says, hey, this place is too white. You got to add 3 more black people, 3 more Asians, 3 more Hispanics, It's such a gray area though. Next one, executive order calling for merit-based federal hiring. This one I really agree with because I guess this goes hand in hand with the DEI process because You want the best person for the job. That's what this is. You're right here. Prioritize on merit and skill in hiring. The best person for the job. If you're the best person for the job who happens to be a lesbian bodybuilder, fine. That's okay as long as you're the best person for the job. Not, instead of having like these top 3 candidates who happen to be all male and white, we can't allow that. So put number 4 in, who is the lesbian black bodybuilder. Like, no, so this takes away of like the best person for the job. Just put in the best person for the job. Anything after that of who they are as a character doesn't matter. If there's someone who believes that they're a different gender, who cares? As long as they are the best person for the job. That is the first priority. Not, we give them this job because they check mark all these DEI boxes. They're black, gay, Jewish. They hit these check boxes before they hit best person. Executive order to designate certain Latin American gangs and cartels as terrorist organization. This one's very interesting. Like, yeah, cartels are a problem, and recognizing them as a terrorist organization means could potentially go to their country. Oh, we're not fighting that country. We're just fighting the terrorists in your country. You know, kind of like, I mean, we did it with Afghanistan. We're not fighting the Afghan people. We're fighting the terrorists in Afghanistan. And of course, like, it's saying, okay, is this allowing the U.S. to go into, like, say, Mexico? We're not fighting Mexico. We're fighting the terrorists, the gang members in there. And maybe this might bring pressure to, like, say, a country like Mexico to do something with their gangs. Because right now, Mexico's... hopefully I explain this right. I might get eaten up alive in the comment section about this. But Mexico kind of just... with all the violence situation going on, with the government involving, got to an agreement that, like, hey, cartels, we will leave you alone as long as you leave people alone. As long as you're not violent, you can resume operations, sell your drugs to the U.S. Don't care how you sell it. Just don't harm people. We have this country's GDP, like 1/3 of it, of Mexico, is like based on tourism. We want the tourists to feel safe too, to come here and spend their money. Do that, we're good. But now it's just like a situation getting out of control because there's still the occasional scrimmages going on in Mexico, so they're not really upholding the deal. So it's a mess. And it's also like Venezuela, right? Don't like Venezuela at all. President, was it Mirando? I forgot his name. The U.S. does not like him at all, and they got oil. And they got that with a train. It's right up here, right? Venezuela gang train to Aragua. So, good reason to invade that country and be like, oh, we're liberating them. We're getting rid of all these gangs and the corrupt president there. Who knows? It's like a good excuse to invade another country. Executive order to rename Denali in the Gulf of Mexico. Gulf of Mexico, like, holy crap, man. And rename to Gulf of America, like, why is that important? Why does this have to be a day one action? Like, this could be something on later, but is this really a top priority? I mean, a lot of these don't sound like top priorities. Some of them are definitely, but some of them are not. It's like just noise. And why do you care? Why are we trying to change the history books on this? I mean, every country has no problem calling it Gulf of Mexico. Like, what's going on here? And the Denali one, I mean, I hope I have a native Alaskan watching this right now and just tell me what the input is on Mount Denali. It's sacredness, mountains sacredness to the native Alaskans. I mean, change it to Mount McKinley, known as a great president according to Trump. I don't know. A proclamation declaring an invasion and restricting entry to the U.S. So it's just officially saying that what's going on down at the southern border is an invasion. And, resources can be allocated there to fight it. I think that's all. Wow, my voice is kind of giving away. That was longer than I thought it'd be. So if you made it this far, I'm really happy that you did. Please leave a comment, like, and subscribe. I'm sure plenty of you are going to comment below. Like, I know I missed something, or I didn't say it right. I'll probably get trolled, but I'd really like to see some people give me some good comments detailing specifically what I said right, wrong, what it really means, stuff like that. Again, thank you very much for watching my video. That's all I have to say. Until next time.